Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of June the 9th, 2025. I'm Scouter Ken, and I'm once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. For those of you who are Taylor Swift fans in the audience, apparently, big news, she's been able to buy back the masters for her first 6 albums, which admittedly are probably the albums that I know best of hers. But to celebrate this fact, the Girl Scouts have shared a childhood photo of the pop star in, what else, her Girl Scouts uniform. Quoting Newsweek via MSN, the Girl Scouts has shared a childhood photo of Taylor Swift praising the pop star after she bought back the rights to the master recordings of her first 6 albums. When Girl Scouts set their minds to something, there's no limit to what they can achieve, the Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan wrote on Facebook alongside the photo of Swift. A spokesperson for the Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan told Newsweek, "We did not expect to receive the action we've gotten from the post, but have been touched by the response. In Girl Scouts, we celebrate ambitious girls and women, and Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan, including our Swiftie marketing team, couldn't help but celebrate a Girl Scout alum doing what Girl Scouts do best, setting a goal, persevering through obstacles, and keeping their eye on the prize until they see it through to the end." End quote. And you can hit up the article if you actually want to see the photo. Meanwhile, over in England, one of the oldest scout groups in the Darlington region is celebrating 110 years of continuous operation. Quoting the Northern Echo, again via MSN. One of Darlington's oldest community groups is celebrating 110 years of continuous service to local young people. The 8th Darlington Cockerton Green Scout Group, founded in 1914 and still thriving, will commemorate the occasion this summer with a commemorative photo and a renewed focus on bringing families together through its annual Garden Fete. Run entirely by volunteers and remaining independent from larger district organizations, the group prides itself on being self-sufficient and rooted in the local area. The annual Garden Fete at Cockerton Green, Darlington, this year is being held on Saturday, June 14th from 1 p.m. Beavers, Cubs, and Scouts make up its 85-strong membership and all play a part in helping the group continue to thrive 110 years on. The Garden Fete event has become a fixture in the local calendar with stalls and activities organized by the Scout leaders alongside support from young members themselves. The lineup includes long-standing favorites such as Splat the Rat, Hook-a-Duck football kicks, and Wheel of Fortune. There will also be face painting, a tombola book stall, adult and kid darts, and a range of refreshments including hot dogs and ice cream. End quote. Hot dogs and ice cream does sound like a scouting party, doesn't it? Over in Romania, the Scouts have been doing some interesting stuff regarding sustainable mobility. This one comes to us via scout.org, and quote, "What began as a local initiative in Iasi, I'm not entirely sure of that pronunciation, a city in northeastern Romania, has become a national movement for sustainable mobility, civic education, and youth-led advocacy. Scarf on a Bicycle, a project initiated in 2022, has, over the years, transformed into a symbol of determination and collaboration for a greener, more bicycle-friendly Romania. The journey started modestly with a small group of scouts cycling through central Iasi to raise awareness about the need for safer, cyclist-friendly infrastructure in Romanian cities. However, the initiative quickly gathered momentum, as did other local scout groups. With guidance and support from local partners, such as content creator The City of Bicycles, Scouts learned to navigate complex administrative procedures, advocate for their rights as citizens, and communicate effectively with local authorities. This year's edition of the ride has brought a long-awaited breakthrough. Thanks to a strengthened partnership with the Iasi City Hall and the Traffic Police, Scouts were finally granted permission to close certain streets, creating a secure space for cycling. It was a significant step forward, proving that change becomes possible when young people are heard and supported." End quote. Meanwhile, over in Barbados, Scouts are doing some environmental leadership training. Quoting scout.org. As part of the global partnership between UNICEF and World Scouting to expand the Champions for Nature Challenge, Ecuador and Barbados are taking steps to empower young people as leaders for the planet. With support from UNICEF, this initiative equips Scouts with green skills, confidence, and the tools to take meaningful climate action. The Barbados Boy Scouts Association is one of only 8 Scout organizations globally chosen to pilot A Greener Barbados, Scouts for Sustainability, a project developed under the WOSM UNICEF Green Skills for Youth-led Climate Action Initiative. Focused on environmental protection, sustainable gardening, and reforestation, the project recognizes that real change happens when young people are equipped to lead. The team new training was essential before any real environmental work could begin. All team leads and key personnel received in-depth guidance on their roles and responsibilities during sessions held on the 29th of March and 19th of April. This preparation phase brought together 33 participants, including young people and adults, ensuring that everybody involved clearly understood what would be expected as they guided others through building a greener Barbados. The most impactful training occurred during the national camp on the 11th of April, where 108 scouts gathered for an interactive workshop, led by personnel from the Ministry of Environment and National Beautification, one of the project's official partners. The engagement was high, the energy even higher, as scouts participated in meaningful discussions and learned new environmental concepts. End quote. It seems to be a recurring theme with all the news stories this week, just empowering youth to step up and lead, which really is what Scouts should be about. I do have to say, though, I love the initiative, but man, some of the titles of the project are really quite a mouthful to say. And also some news out of the World Organization of the Scouting Movement itself. They have appointed a new Secretary General. Quoting scout.org. Today, and I hasten to point out that this article was posted on the 3rd of June, 2025, the World Organization of the Scout Movement announced the appointment of David Berg of Belgium as its 11th Secretary General following a global search and competitive selection process. David is a lifelong Scout with more than 20 years of leadership experience driving strategic growth, governance reforms, and organizational transformation. He served as Chief Executive of his National Scout Association in Belgium from 2006 to 2010, and over the past decade, David has held key senior leadership roles within the World Scout Bureau. Most recently, he served as Acting Secretary General and previously as Chief Operating Officer, where he helped drive the implementation of World Scouting's global strategy and operations alongside the previous Secretary General. The appointment follows an extensive and inclusive selection process led by dedicated Secretary General Selection Task Force, made up of 7 World Scout Committee board members from across all scouting regions and supported by the international executive search firm Gatton B. Sanderson. The position attracted applicants from around the world, reflecting a strong global interest in the role from a diverse and qualified pool of candidates. David officially assumes his role as Secretary General with immediate effect. End quote. And again, that was posted on June 3rd. So, cool. The World Organization, of which most of us listening are probably members, I know I am, we have a new Secretary General. That's cool, right? I will tell you what is cool, though. And this is something that Scouts Canada has announced, and I'm only just hearing about it now. I'm actually kind of miffed that I've only catching up with it 2 weeks on. But Scouts Canada has announced a design contest to create Canada's next superhero, quoting scouts.ca. We are on the hunt for the next great Canadian superhero, and we're calling kids aged 5 to 15 to lead the charge with creativity, kindness, and some Canuck-powered imagination. From June 1st to June 27th, we're launching a nationwide drawing contest inviting youth to design a homegrown hero who embodies what it means to be Canadian. Whether your superhero harnesses the power of maple syrup or teleports via Tim Hortons, we want to see your vision of what a true Canadian hero looks like. The top 3 heroes will be turned into real 3D action figures with a customized crest and showcased nationally on scouts.ca, social media, and national media coverages. Winners will be announced on June 30th and receive their collectible figures by August. End quote. So that's kind of like I say, I'm kind of miffed that I'm only just hearing about this now because this is totally the sort of thing that I would have barked out to the Beavers and the Scouts, and I'll let the Cub leaders handle communicating with the Cubs. So naturally, I've sent the link to my group committee. You can find it in the show notes. But if you haven't heard about it, now you have, and you still have a bit of time. Submission deadline is the 27th of June, so it's coming up, but you still got a few days to tell your youth, ages 5 to 15, covers everything from Beavers to the first couple years of Venturers, to get their submissions in. Scouts Canada does note that the image has to be hand-drawn. No AI, please. They specifically say that on the website. And the superhero must include a superhero name, special powers that reflect the values of Scouts Canada, kindness, leadership, community spirit, environmental care, and teamwork, or, just Scout Law and Promise. I think we all know. And then also a short backstory, up to 100 words, that brings the hero to life. And that is all the news I have for you today. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, be prepared.